Yes, good afternoon, everybody from the beautiful Netherlands. We have a wonderful day today, and from San Francisco area, good morning. I have my brother from the other side of the ocean, Darren McMahon, and before let me now, I'm so proud and so happy that you are here actually, because you are a wonderful professional, very successful man and also with the biggest heart. So let me tell you first before we do our centering exercise about Darren. Darren sold over $100 million in his sales career in the healthcare industry as a distributor of health supplies and services. And he's one of the top income producers as a sales executive for the top rated and Fortune 7 running an 8-figure monthly business. And along with this business, Darren is an active investor in outside business ventures, loves to serve individuals and companies, inspiring change and constant growth. And he is proud to say that he has failed many times on his road to success and emotional fulfillment. Now it is his time to help others conquer their doubts, to new heights, and live their best life ever. And he has overcome overwhelm, epilepsy, bankruptcy, and starting from zero. He would not have changed a thing. And in his spare time, Darren loves to travel the world with his wife Laura and a wonderful princess, their 20 months old daughter Mila, whom they are grooming to be a world traveler herself. And he has a philanthropy and the monthly supporting of families in third world countries. It's something that Darren enjoys going to give back. And he has founded also Your Best Life to help further the lives he impacts. He's quite a busy man. He's also writing his book, Only Dead Fish Go with the Flow: How to Dream Bigger, Work Smarter, and Live an Extraordinary Life. So it's on his last 100 meters in a final editing of his book. So welcome, Darren. I'm so happy you're here with me and whoever is going to watch this
Thank you.
to talk about mastering modern cold sales on our way to freedom. But before we start, we have the tradition here. We center. We transitioned into a sacred experience, which we're gonna create, you and me, for us and for other people. So we take a minute and we close our eyes and simply connect to the breath. And just connect to the heart and invite the breath to the heart, breathing into the heart and out from your heart. And in a moment, you will just focus on, you will do 3 breaths. And on the in breath, you will tell yourself, I'm here. And on the out breath, you will tell to yourself, I am free. And you'll do it 3 times, and we're going to open our eyes in your own rhythm. So enjoy. Take your time, and when you're ready, just open your eyes. And welcome. So,
I
thank you
like
for
that
being
tradition.
here. Yes, yes, me too. Me too. Thank you for being here, Darren.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
You've had an so far very full life, lots of peaks and valleys on the way,
Absolutely. They're all blessed. All the valleys were blessings.
or the valleys. I know many of your stories, and still I was thinking how inspiring you've been and how open you are about, you know, yeah, the valleys and also the peaks in your life. And you've been most of your professional lives, or for the past 20 years or something, in sales, right? Mastering this part of the business, the driver of the business, um, the oxygen of the business, if you like. And your expertise is especially in cold sales. And I think this is an important yeah, aspect of the sales. And I'm curious, first of all, to talk about the sales, cold sales, and how cold sales help you to become the man you are today, to expand your identity. So let's
Absolutely.
start. Let's start. Cold sales. I know you call them differently, but you
Yeah.
go.
Well, I I call them gold sales first off because I'm always thinking cold sales just has a weird mentality for it. I remember when I first started in sales uh, 22 years ago or so. Actually, it was before that because before I started with the company that I'm in now, I was horrible in sales. Actually, for the first 4 years of the company that I work for now, I was not very good. I mean, I was almost let go the first couple years, despite working just endless hours because I really didn't know how to gold sell. As I'm saying, it's basically
GOLD.
GOLD. Yes, exactly, because you're digging for gold. Basically, walking in and off the street, trying to create rapport, instant rapport, get through the gatekeeper, get through the main prospect. And for those that don't know, I mean, more times people quit after the first couple times, but it's normally the sixth time is basically where 60% of the sales you normally will get turn around about 5 times before the sixth time where 60% of the sales really happen. And so in order for me to really um, get through and make sales happen, I had to persevere and really make things happen. So those first couple years were really trying years, and I just really didn't quite understand about human needs psychology. I wasn't really quite connecting with my with the clients, and they had long-standing relationships. I really couldn't penetrate, didn't know how to penetrate those relationships. So I would walk in off the street. I was doing the same thing what other representatives were trying to do that were trying to get the business. Guess what? I wasn't getting very far. So I was told, hey, chump, you're just about out of here unless your business improves.
So,
And
Darren, first of all, I love your reframe. I think this is very important in general. We know very much that we know that the language we use matters very much in our experience. So gold sales because you're digging for the gold is not
yeah.
cold sales. So you had lots of blockages on the way. What kept you going?
Well, I saw that there was every single month they used to post every month they used to post the company the top people in the company, and there was 1,200 sales reps. I was basically near the bottom. There's 1,200 sales reps in the company at the time, and I was near the bottom, and there was this CEO roundtable, and it was the top people there, and I was very competitive just because I was an athlete growing up. I was a collegiate athlete as well, so I was always very competitive, and I never wanted to be on the bottom. I wanted to be up
At the
near the
top.
top there. Yep, it was just in my DNA, and maybe because I was always I had this fighting mentality. I was this little kid growing up. I felt like I had to, maybe this little man's complex. I had to fight. I had to just go ahead and mix it up. I was taught by my mom and dad, hey, never give an inch, maybe always stand up for what you believe in. And when it came to the sporting field, I always did well, just because I was always hustling, and I had a fair amount of good athletic ability, but I was an overachiever. So when it came to um, sales, I just felt like I needed to go ahead, and I was not going to quit. There was no way I was going to go ahead and quit. So there was no way I was going to go ahead and fail at this. And seeing those numbers, though, month after month, and I wasn't really making much progress, and I would see these same names over and over again at the top of the table, at the top of the CEO roundtable, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And so I remember reaching out to some of those people, and I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? I mean, and they were saying, hey, I got these type of clients, and all my clients were these, because I was in the healthcare industry, so I was selling to doctors, and I had smaller type of doctors. They had these big groups. They had different type of clients. I was calling on the wrong type of doctors. I couldn't penetrate into the right type of clients. So I had the wrong strategy. I wasn't getting into the right type of clients. Bottom line, I had the wrong strategy. I didn't have the right skills, and I was almost let go. So, but the good
So
thing
you had the cold shower, or to use your metaphor, you had your gold shower.
yes, exactly. Yes. The good thing is I was hustling. I hustled, and I kept on working very, very hard. And at the end of year 3.5, the company that I was working for, I was recruited by McKesson, which is the company I work for now. And they sent the top rep in the company, who's leads.
And for the people who don't know, McKesson is a 215 billion US dollar company, right?
Yeah, it's a Fortune 7 company. They ended up about 7 years ago buying out the company that I originally started for. Just to give you some context. But anyway, they sent their top rep in the company, who is still number one in the whole industry. He rewrites all record books. He's the best he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. They sent him after me to recruit me for the company, just because they said, hey, we hear that you're a hustler and that you are trying to go after our accounts. So I was like, well, what do you want with me? I was humbled, first off, because I said, hey, what do you want with me? Because I'm hustling, but I didn't tell them this. I didn't tell them that I don't really quite know what I'm doing yet, but I'm humbled. But I played my card right for about 6 months. In 3 dinners, I just said, well, I'm not coming over. I feel obligated to this company that I'm with. Make a long story short, after six months, they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Gave me a signing bonus. I ended up switching companies. From there, the next year, I was Rookie of the Year. Next year, I was Rookie of the Year. And then, pardon me there, I was turning off my phone here. Rookie of the Year. And then I ended up learning from the GOAT, the greatest of all time, who's still with the company. And he ended up mentoring me along with, and basically helped me. And I also got involved with the personal development with Tony Robbins group. And I ended up learning how to really create rapport and human need psychology. And that helped me tremendously because I learned how to go ahead and create instant rapport with someone. I learned how to get in through the gatekeeper. I did not know how to do that before.
So, what was in your mind actually when you were working very hard for 3.5 years and still not getting results? What was your inner dialogue most of the time when you're going to make your sales? Oops.
Quite honestly, I was just telling myself, you can't quit. I mean, I was working 80-hour weeks, sometimes more, but I just said, hey, listen, you failed before. I was 28 years old. You're not quitting. I mean,
Okay,
I started this.
kept you going.
Yeah, I was just like, this is point of no return. I was not going to quit. Yes.
But my question is more when you were engaging with prospects to make your sales, which you didn't for 3.5 years, or at least not at your best. What was going on in your head? Because this is important for people to understand.
Sure.
How do we optimize the process of gold selling or cold selling?
So, what was my dialogue to them personally?
First of all, in your mind, when you are engaging with them unsuccessfully.
My dialogue to them, or my inner dialogue.
Yes.
When I was talking to them.
Yes.
Well, basically, my inner dialogue to them was, well, I started to kind of doubt myself a little bit. I should say, in the sense that, hey, well, perhaps part of me had started to have some self-doubt because I was spinning round and round. And yes, I was having some growth, however, not the exponential growth of someone that would be working 80 hours a week. And I was expecting massive growth, but I wasn't getting the exponential results of what I was expecting. And so I was starting to doubt it. I started saying, well, perhaps I'm just not good enough. And, I needed to change something around because I was not getting what I expected out of this. So
in terms of your identity, if you look back at that time when you were unsuccessful in sales, what was your identity at that time?
My identity definitely was it's not where it is right now, I'll tell you that.
No, but that's why I'm asking, because
it was
this is how you help others.
Yes. It was one that was a lot less confident. It was one that my physiology, I would say, went up and down because I would say I was a lot more moody. My life, my balance in life, I used to spend a lot more time trying to at the gym, say, for example, just trying to get stuff out, stress out at the gym, because I didn't have the right work-life balance that I have right now. Because right now I got a great work-life balance. Right. Then I was a stress case, and just because everything was just, my mind was just horrible, quite honestly, right. Because I didn't know how to handle it, because I felt myself like I was failing, quite honestly. Even though I was getting some type of results, I was failing ultimately. And I needed to change. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I needed to change. And luckily, fortunately, I ended up changing companies, and my career ended up taking off once I started learning more tools of what I needed to learn,
Right.
and
So,
that came
how
at the right
important
time.
do you think the work private balance you think is to help you perform at your best?
It's absolutely essential because you can have all the talent in the world, but unless you have work-life balance, you can go ahead. I mean, I can let you know, for example, um, I my career was going on all cylinders for some time. However, I was trying to take on too much work at one time, and well, this happened several times,
Yeah.
but two times especially, I was trying to deal with a long-term relationship between my here in Europe. I was
Yeah.
flying back and forth between here and Europe, and this was after I even changed companies.
Yeah.
I was still, even though my business took off, I was still, my work life balance was not where it should have been until later on in life, until I really learned, until I really mastered this. But I can say that work life balance is so very essential because I ended up, as I shared with you before, I was working way too much. I wasn't working smartly. I still work hard now. However, I work a lot smarter. I take my time away for fun with my family because my family gets, the best of me, not the rest of me. That is very important for me right now. Um, Also, need to make sure that I take time for myself. I take walks for myself to go ahead and decompress. I take walks, or I just go to the gym, or I go hit some golf balls at the golf course. It's so very essential
So, ways
because
to nurture yourself, right?
exactly I need to. I also do time to go ahead and review or do my personal development, or I do my uh, Tony Robbins time to go ahead and continue to do my personal development,
Awesome.
constant, never-ending improvement.
Yeah.
Because as I was going to go ahead and note, I ended up I did not have that work-life balance, and I ended up having two huge seizures because I was fighting epilepsy. Because according to doctors, I was fighting lack of sleep and stress in my life.
Yes. Yes.
And I ended up waking up two times to flashlights in my eyes.
Yeah.
And one time I could have sworn that I saw the gates of heaven coming to me. I don't know
Right.
what it was. I have no idea what it was,
Yeah.
but I remember seeing some lights and some voices, and who knows what it was. It could have just been
You got, but
the paramedics.
the good part is you are a warrior. You got your lesson because 90% maybe of the visits to doctors are stress related, and stress came in your life via epilepsy and other issues. So
Yes.
work life balance. Before we move to because
Yeah.
I want to know what is in your way the optimum process to excel in gold sales, as you call it. Just tell me what is your biggest mistake that you made that
Yeah.
helped you a lot to learn. Is that the balance, or it's something else?
Um, the biggest mistake is that I would make, and that I see that a lot of salespeople that now that I mentor currently right now, is number one is they try and talk too much. You got to shut up and listen. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is posturing. Posturing is so very important when you go into um, a, any type of salesperson, any type of sales office. You got to learn how to posture, and you got to have smooth transitions between your posturing, because you got to treat every single person as if they're a CEO in a transition in a office, as if whether you're in a boardroom or even if you're talking to a secretary, you don't know if that secretary is eventually going to be a VP or if they're going to be a CEO. You have no idea. So give everyone equal mutual respect. And so it's very, very important for you to know how to posture and know how to mirror and match and know how to break someone's pattern and how to come across differently, because so many people come in from an office on these cold calls and they come in the same exact way, same exact rep. And I'll tell you what, me myself, I don't like I don't like salespeople in general. Heck, I look at myself and I was like, I would never see myself as a salesperson when I was younger. It's like I get phone calls from a salesperson. I was like, oh gosh, salespeople. So I put myself in their shoes as a salesperson. That's very, very important. You got to put yourself in the shoes of them, and
Of
you
your
know that
customers.
of your customers, exactly. So you got to put your yourself in their shoes and think, okay, immediately you need to find a way to get their trust, because they're looking for their trust. Immediately they're going to have assume that they have blinders on. They're looking for trust. They're looking for ways, hey, what is it? Why should I even trust you? Why should I even, if there's a gatekeeper there, why should I even let you back to the decision maker?
Yeah.
Why should I like you? And so if I come in off the street and just say, hey, uh, my name is Darren McMahon from XYZ company, it's like blah, 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 blah. Guess what? My card's probably going to go in the mail as soon as I freaking get out there. So I come in a different type of way. I break their pattern. I start talking about just something else. I normally break their pattern in a different type of way, and it has worked for me throughout the times. I immediately before first off I prepare. It's very important to prepare before you going into an office, because a lot of people just go in there cold turkey without even knowing what type of client they're going into. So prepare who you're going to talk to, and also have a backup plan. If you can't talk to that particular person that you're going to go talk to,
Yeah.
who's your plan B that you're going to talk to? If you don't have a plan B, okay, make sure that you have a plan C. If you don't have a plan C, okay, go ahead and just make sure that you also follow up in a non social media type of way. So many people just do this emails. Stand out from emails. Everyone does emails nowadays. Do handwritten notes. Do thank you notes. You got to stand out, because so many people just do the same thing over and over again. They do these emails. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Who does this stuff? You got to go ahead and be genuine.
Yeah.
Give yourself a reason to go back in that office. So I always give myself a reason to go back in that office. So I have a handwritten note and that gatekeeper, and I always remember that gatekeeper's name. So you got to also remember that person's name. I always write down that person's name, so I have
Hmm.
something to talk to.
Yeah.
I'll remember something that maybe she was wearing, or it's something that I can compliment them on, but I make it very neutral.
Yeah.
Okay. Or something about their office that I can break their pattern. Oh, you guys, beautiful office, something along that lines. And then not always will I just introduce myself the um, very first sentence, because everyone does that. So I'll go ahead and normally I will just go ahead and just say something random about the office to just kind of break their pattern a little bit, because it's random. They're not expecting it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, and then I'll go ahead and just say, oh, by the way, this and this and this and that. If that makes
So
sense.
in order to do that, it means that you are not running in the same time, an inner dialogue in your head. So your focus is totally on them, actually,
Yes.
in ways how to connect to create rapport, as you're saying.
Yes.
Um, So you basically transition from focusing on your inner dialogue that you probably were doing before
Yeah.
into focusing on them. How can I break their pattern? How can I create rapport? How can I, you use human needs psychology, right? How can I meet their needs?
Yeah.
And implementing those strategies in small things like finding yourself a reason to go back, writing notes, making sure that you serve, connect, and also stand out. So you get your significance by doing things differently while
Sure.
contributing to them, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
absolutely. It's before when I got started in sales and when I
Yeah.
was failing, quite honestly, it was more about me. It was about my little type of sales. It was about looking at my numbers. Now, I don't really look at my numbers month after month. They just go up because now it's all about serving my customers and it's about the long-term relationships. I don't worry about just going ahead about getting turned 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 away once or twice, three times. This is part of the game. I'm in for the long term relationship because I know this is all about relationships. I've
Yeah.
built my territory, my sales, all on relationships. This is all about long term relationships. My biggest customer right now just went public, and they started off with a measly three three office three offices. Now they're up to a lot of offices throughout the United States. And I repeatedly got turned away from them when they had three offices and they were ordering from a different competitor.
Yeah.
And eventually I got through to one of their VPs and I ended up winning over the business just when they had three offices. And
Yeah.
it's been about 10 years now, and they continue to explode up and they just keep on expanding, and I'm their go-to person. They just
Awesome.
I'm one of their kind of, I guess you could say, their trusted advisors. So
Well
it's
done.
wonderful just because it's a relationship.
How do you deal with no?
Pardon me.
How do you deal with no's, with rejections?
Knows. Knows. It's funny because I don't really see no as a no. I just, a lot of times, I just know that a no it just means that no means that they're perhaps not ready right now, but that doesn't mean no always. I just know, I know that no doesn't mean for you to take it personally, because, and always, never take it personally. Always take the high road, and always keep in contact with that person, because no's normally are the best customers that you want to have. And
Yeah.
so I always keep in contact with those customers, and I always say thank you for being honest with me, because quite honestly, you are the best customers. And so with your with your permission, I would just like to keep this relationship
Going.
open. And
Yeah.
I completely understand where you're coming from, and I'll be here for you in case
Awesome.
you ever need me. And so I keep it open. I keep it open
Yeah.
instead of just walking off and let my ego get the best of me.
Awesome. In 1994, I started to work for one of the largest banks that I was in Romania. So after the revolution, the Romanian economy started to open to foreign investments. And I remember I was the first commercial employee of the bank. And I've started to do cold or gold sales right now, and going to companies, so calling them and presenting myself and all that. And I remember always people will say, oh, but what kind of bank is this, in Romania? How do we know that? Basically, they didn't know much about the activities and the intention, and so it was quite primitive at that time. So to me, it was always about building a long-term relationship, about educating them about the possibilities of creating also a compelling future, and keeping in touch. This to me made me, yeah, to be a top banker in Romania, which brought me to the head office. But it was like always look for how to serve and build relationships,
Sure.
long-term relationships. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you say that, because this is crucial. Find a way to go back, find a way to serve, even if it doesn't come right
Sure.
now, you know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, my best customers are actually customers that initially said no to
Said
me,
no. Yeah,
and
yeah,
because my reputation ended up
yeah,
coming back around and saying, "Hey, we learned that you did a good job, and we would like to give you a shot now." And
yeah.
so, hey,
Awesome.
and so
So
it came
if you
around.
if you were to explain to a 7-year-old, metaphorically, what is the most effective process for cold sales from A to Z in 2 minutes? What would that be?
In 2 minutes, the most
Yes.
effective way. Okay. To a 7-year-old, that's an interesting question. I would say, um, okay, put me to the test here. Say, just uh, go go in, be genuine, and see how you can go ahead and be as not just as genuine, and just go introduce yourself. And well,
Actually,
let me say, a 7-year-old is going to be a lot different from someone
okay,
that is
so
a lot older.
let me do it this way. How would you teach your daughter when she would grow, and as an adult, but a young adult? Okay?
Okay.
Your daughter, Mila, young adult, that she's going to be in sales.
Yes.
How would you coach her? How would you explain her what is the most effective process to excel in cold sales or gold sales?
Okay. I, I would say to Mila is Mila just the main thing is Mila is for you to go ahead and when you're cold calling is make sure that you're genuinely 100% yourself because people can go ahead and know when you're fake. People do not like fake people. First
Yeah.
off, follow up. Do your follow up whenever you say you're going to follow up. Follow up. Make sure that you never give up. Can can follow up. Never give up because cold calling. It's normally the sixth time that you will normally penetrate and get through to and make a sale. And it's a long term process. Don't get discouraged.
So what does Mila need to remember in between contact 1 and contact 6 till she gets the sales?
Well, she needs to learn that this is a she needs to learn that this is a long term play. This is a relationship play. This is not about you. This is about serving the needs of the customer, and you need to find out what the needs of the customer are and fill that gap. Now, it may take some time in order for you to get through to who that decision maker is, because a lot of times there may be a lot of different people that you need to go through in order to get to that main decision maker in the main person. Because heck, in order to get to say the CEO of a company, if you want to deal with the CEO, there's going to be a lot of different pieces of the puzzle, and you may have to go through 10 different contacts in order to get there, and
Yeah.
you may never even get there. However, the whole point is in order for you to go ahead and start a long-term relationship, you need to start at point A and then go to point B and go to point
So
C. And
have
then,
patience.
yeah, have patience. Patience is a virtue, and build a relationship with point A, point B, point C, contact D, because that's a foundation. Relationships are the foundation of sales. And when you build a solid foundation, that's you're not going to go wrong, because you're going to, guess what? The foundation, point A, point B, point C, point D are eventually going to move up the ladder, and not just perhaps within that company, they're going to go to other companies. That's been the foundation of why a lot of my sales have taken off myself, is because the medical community has all intermingles within each other, and they call me up with referrals from everywhere. And so I get referrals from everywhere now. And they say, hey, we want you to be our account manager. We want you, hey, come on over here. I'm starting up these clinics. And so, hey, no, I want Darren. I want you. And just because it's all relationship building, and because I understand about their needs and what they want, you got to fill that gap. You got to.
So would you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. What would you tell her that makes you very different than the others?
Very different is you got to go at, well, for me, myself, and what I would encourage Mila is you got to be willing to go beyond what other salespeople are willing to do. And for example, in building relationships, is I make my relationships more than just a business relationship. I make them a personal relationship too. I want my business people to know that I'm there not just as a business partner, I'm there as also a friend as well. So they can call me as, I'm not a 9 to 5er. They can call me at 7 o'clock at night. They can call me at 8 o'clock at night. They can call me whenever they need to, because I'm there not just as a business relationship, I'm there as a friend relationship too. And so
and how do you keep your balance work life if you don't have strict boundaries around the time?
I do that because they know that I can do that. I don't have strict boundaries in regards to that, because a lot of people do have strict boundaries. Say, for example, they'll turn off their phone at, say, 9 o'clock or pardon me, at 5 o'clock, and they're a 9 to 5er.
Yeah.
If my friends will go ahead and once they get to know me, say, for example, they'll go ahead and get the message, but I will go ahead and have a conversation with them. And if I can bail them out of some tough situations, say, for example, I will go ahead and do that, and, pick up a phone or call them back, say, for example, let's say 7:30 or something. But the main thing is I want them to know that I'm there as a friend. And because when it comes down to business and friendship as well, I'm there just as a friend, confident as well. It's just not a business relationship.
Okay.
I'm there as a friend as well.
Okay. So 2 more questions that I have. One is, how important do you think is this cold goal selling to becoming a free person?
Well, I think it's very, very important to be a free person, because when you learn to cold call, you learn so much more about yourself in general, because you can learn about rejection too, because rejection is part of the game when it comes to cold calling. If you don't, a lot of people don't like rejection, and they just get, exactly, they don't know how to deal with it. And for a long time, I did not know how to deal with it. I was like, oh, damn it, why these people?
So you are getting frustrated.
I was getting frustrated. Why these people not buying from me? I can make this happen. And a lot of the pricing, I could control myself, right? So I could go ahead and mark down and beat other people's pricing, and I was still not getting the business.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the pricing that I was dealing with. I was trying to win over relationships, even though I had better pricing, but it still wasn't happening. and I was getting frustrated. And so
And now?
now it's not about pricing, and now I have probably higher pricing than most all the reps out there, uh, because I realize it's all about relationships, and
Right.
I have a lot better relationships. But it's about freedom, and I feel like when I learned how to handle rejection, and I realized, hey, this is not it's not about me. It's about, hey, it's about a lot of times you don't know what's going on in other people's worlds. It's about breaking down those barriers. And a lot of people say no for a lot of different reasons. A lot of times people say no because they just need more information. They just looking for a reason to say yes. They're just testing you. They just want to know, hey, that they want to know that you are willing to go ahead and that you're the right partner for them. They want to
Right.
put you through the ringer.
Or they don't just don't understand. They don't make the connection in their head about between
Exactly.
your product and their success, right? So and how
Exactly.
but
And so
yeah,
it's great. It's a way for you when you hear no the first 3, 4, 5, 6, if it takes you more than 6, 7 times, it's a way for you to even expand even more and learn more about yourself. And so hearing that no, it's like it's time for me to go back to the drawing board, because each time that I hear a no on a call, I say, okay, what did I do great that time? Okay, what could I have done better? And then I'll go back to the drawing board, and then I'll make some notes, and then I'll go back to that same client perspective, and then I'll go in. If I doesn't work again, I'll make the same notes, and then each time I feel like I'm building that muscle even more. So I'm expanding, I'm growing even more. That's giving myself even more freedom to go ahead and grow as a person. This is helping me even more. And by the time I'm landing that client, which will eventually come, I'm very confident that it will come, because I will eventually break them down, and they will at least, maybe I won't be their prime supplier, but I'll be their backup supplier, because I will eventually earn the respect. Um, then hey, I've learned a lot about myself as well.
yeah.
Does that
Awesome.
make sense?
Yeah. Are you a free man?
Am I a free man? I would
Do you
say
feel a
absolutely.
free? You are a free man, but do you feel free?
I feel the free. I'll tell you. Before, I did not feel a free man, because I was was trying to juggle so much stuff. I was trying to deal with real estate in in different states, and I was trying to build this sales territory. I was dealing with the relationship between here and Europe. Now I feel I got so much freedom. I got a wonderful wife. I got this little daughter. The this just beautiful family. I have this wonderful career, and I got other businesses as well that are doing well. And but most importantly, I got this work-life balance that I know how to go ahead and deal with, and I got a wonderful friendships as well. So I know how to put on the brakes and know when to say enough is enough. Am I still learning? Absolutely. I'm still learning each and every day how to be a better
Awesome.
person, and how to be around people that continue to inspire me, such as yourself. There's so many people out there that I love to be around, and such as the Robbins environment. I'm continuing to learn from each and every one of them,
Yeah.
and I continue to try and be the best form of myself that I can
Awesome.
possibly be.
Thank you so much for today. So we're gonna end now. Just give me three things people to remember in order to excel at gold selling and master the art of selling.
You want it just 3 things, huh? Wow, you're putting the hammer on me. Okay, I would say number one is you gotta watch your posturing. Okay, so be very, very careful between your transitions between being the expert and your language patterns between knowing how to ask questions as the expert and knowing how to just go ahead and ask questions as being coming from a equal position. Hey, for example, well, tell me about your business,
Yeah.
or how can I be of best assistance for you? And knowing, or perhaps a question as, well, let me show you how we can be of best assistance to you. And also another very important distinction is you want to always let the customer be the hero. It's not about you being the hero. Let the customer be the hero, especially if you're dealing with someone from an organization that is that has different layers. Say you're not working with someone one-on-one as a coach. You're working with someone with an organization that has a CFO. You want to make sure that you're the hero. You're not the hero. So say, for example, you don't want to have your language saying, hey, well, if I can go ahead and show you that I can go ahead and provide this and this and this, will you go ahead and sign on the dotted line? No, it's about how about we, this is joint collaboration. If we can go ahead and show you this, do you see how this can be of
Can
value?
impact.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. My whole point is to go ahead and put you perspective in a position so that you can go
Yeah.
ahead and be of great value here.
Oh,
Let's see. Another thing is the hero perspective. There's posturing.
and one more.
One more is, I would say, is, oh shoot, my computer is about to die. Bear with me.
Well, it
Okay.
happens.
Yeah. Is you want to learn to effectively match and mirror. That's an old classic. You guys know this, but match and mirror.
It's just doing it. It's not about that.
Just
Yeah, knowing it, but doing it.
knowing it and doing it exactly, because a lot of the clients in the boardrooms, they don't know it, but it works. So matching and mirroring, that is an old classic. So go ahead and use that, whether it be your tonality, your body language, whatever it may be, just go ahead and use it because it works. And sorry, I got to sneak another one in there. But make sure that you can also align yourself with your customers and get good at creating a picture with their vision. Get good at creating a story with where they want to go with their vision, with where their company is going. So say, for example, you figure out where their needs are, get it good at showing them at how implementing the needs of your business or your services, how it will show where their business will be 1 year in the future, 6 months in the future, 3 years in the future,
Yes.
and paint that picture, if that makes any sense. Does that make any
Yes.
sense?
Yes. You are part. Just be part of their future, basically,
Exactly.
through
Implement
everything
them,
you do.
align with them.
Yes, and through
Yes.
everything with them. So let them have this picture in their head, and coming, of course, from a place of integrity. That's very important,
Oh,
right? Because you
absolutely.
truly believe that your service and products is going to improve their bottom line and their meaning as a company, right? So
Yeah.
that's very important.
I got one more. Hold
No,
on.
okay, and we're gonna.
Okay, one quick thing more, is always the best salespeople, I would say, always anticipate too. you got to anticipate the needs of your clients as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people wait for their clients to tell them what to do or what they need instead of anticipating
Yes.
in advance. So something that I like to do is I like to go ahead and anticipate what my customers' needs are, and I say, hey, I think this is going to be for you, or you may need this report. Here you go. And a lot of my customers are saying, wow, thanks. Thank you. Wow, I never even thought about this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So anticipation is very, very key. Anticipation of
Awesome.
what their needs are. So anyway, there's many more, but I'll shut
Thanks
up.
a lot. Thanks a lot. And
Absolutely.
we went much longer than planned, but it's always thank you so much for sharing so much with us, and it's always a pleasure. And I hope that your book it's coming. You're almost done with your editor, and I'm looking forward to reading it because I'm sure it's going to be a lots of nuggets of wisdom, business wise and in the personal life. Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
And
you betcha.
everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thanks, Darren. See
Okay,
you
my
next time.
friend.
See you next time, huh?
Okay,
Thanks.
take care.
Bye. Bye.